Thank you so much for joining me one more time here as we do get Micron earnings out right now. It should be, I'm just loading up the Benzinga. Let's just go check them out together. There's Micron right now. It's never good when it's in the red right there for Micron. So I'm actually seeing an EPS right now, adjusted EPS sees Q1 as being negative. Okay, 114 versus $1. I think they have that maybe the wrong way right there. So let's just see what they just did right now. 107 adjusted EPS, 107 beats 118. I feel like they're all messed up right now. That doesn't make sense. 107 beats 118. But anyways, we'll figure this all out. What exactly is happening right now on Micron? I don't know. I'll pull this over and I'll let Benzinga refresh itself a little bit because I feel like there's something missing there. But look what Micron is exactly doing though in the after hours. A pretty nice move down to 66 bucks right now for MU, as on the minute chart right here. That's a daily chart. Let's just call it up and see. There it is, a nice flush down. So I'm just bringing you what I'm seeing here. Benzinga right now on Micron, trying to get going. So let me just type it in here by symbol, just so we can see it again. Q1 adjusted EPS looks, I don't know why that's in the red, because I know that they're making money, right? So I'm not sure about that right now for Micron. We'll figure it out right now. Or maybe they're not. They have the EPS right now on Micron as minus $1.43. So that's a little bit strange right here. Am I way off on this, guys? Let me just check what's happening on the chat. Welcome right now to everybody. Thank you. Great show today. So people loving the show, thank you so much. We had a great opportunity to have Max on the air today, and that was absolutely flying. So that was good, man. And there goes Micron right now, right back up to the top again. A pretty violent name right now here today. I'm going to go to live chat and just say hi to everybody that's here, man. It's because it's a loss. Yeah, okay. Less loss on the EPS than expected. Okay, we don't normally see that kind of stuff on here. So yeah, minus 114 versus minus $1. So that's worse versus 90 cents. So yeah, nice downside move. We'll hear what Micron's going to talk about moving forward right now. Here's the endless expectations for Micron. So average price target of 77 bucks. That's not going to come in as Micron today up to $68. Here's some price targets coming through for Micron. So we're going to get some changes tomorrow on this name as we'll look for some upgrades and downgrades from Micron. How is that affecting the sector? Here's Micron on our screen right now, 68 and change. As you can see, 68.10 flying through here on MU coming back in. But how is that affecting right now? Let's get rid of Micron and type in here AMD. Are we getting, and I know it's DRAM, I know it's going to be a little bit different. And you can see AMD saying, hold my beer on that Micron number. NVIDIA not moving either. Is TSM moving around a little bit? Taiwan Semi potentially, not doing anything. So looks like Micron's going to trade the way it trades right now. Let's just go to the previous topic quickly and do a sector recap, because we didn't do much of that today. What a wild day, man. We will review Meta, as you can see there on the board. I think trade review Meta and Microsoft, because I want to talk about those as they're connected. But let's go over right now quickly. Go put some dailies up here. So what was moving today? Oh yeah, baby. Let's go bang it out right there on OIH today. OIH, man, nice move to the upside, taking out some levels. We'll wait to see if we can hit that top. We saw Max trade XOM today. What a wild ride that was for him. But he was long, so actually it wasn't a wild ride. It was more a wild ride for those that were short. XOM today saying, hold my beer, and all-time highs. So we like that, man. We're long Valero. We're long XOM too, but we haven't bought any dips, so we're long from a long time ago. XOM, nice move to the upside. Anything oil. We talked about Valero breaking out through 140. Actually, surprised. This isn't oil services, so we'll see if that can get back up to the upside. I'm actually surprised that Valero's just right here right now. I think there's more to go on that name. There's USO. This is the oil fund. So this is what you're looking at. Boom to the upside there, oil today. We saw the front contract was about 91.50. I know oil hit 93 bucks today, so that was a big one. Here's the SMH today with a nice move, holding that 140. Let's see if that can hold fort. What did the NASDAQ? Ooh, the NASDAQ today, let's go. Nice day on the NASDAQ, holding fort a little bit there, up 0.2 right now on the NASDAQ, so that held out. What was low today? We talked about that silver and gold. People asked why was gold up today, or sorry, why was gold down so much today? And I just said it's a flight to safety. We had the dollar up, we had the yen up today, so I think people looking at currencies maybe, as opposed to looking at the precious metals. So gold today hitting a nice little move to the downside as well. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. We're gonna have to work on that. We've made some new ones. We'll get that going for you at some point, but hit it and we'll get on that. The regional banks, man, if there was any short out of any of these ETFs right now, I would look at the KRE, the regional banks right there. Micron Q4 EPS winds up beating, as I see on the screen. So we'll watch out for Micron here. Let's just quickly go back to Micron, see what it's doing here. That's a daily chart. Let's pull it back down to a 1 minute. So basically flat here. Micron not having too much movement. You can see down 0.26 now on Micron. So we'll have to watch out for that. It's just bouncing around the 200 period. If you're going to look for a daily chart, where could Micron flush to in any possible worries? I mean, that's 62 bucks. I think that's probably a buy at the 200 period. We're waiting for some of these names to float into the 200. AMD is a much better buy in my opinion because we're at the 200 right now. So buy some dips there in that. We bought Amazon yesterday. It looks like we'll probably be about flat on that as Amazon flat on the day with a nice move back in the middle of the day. This is a daily chart, but if you saw Amazon after Zuckerberg and company mentioned AWS coming through for Llama there, number 2, that hit that up to 127. Let's pay attention to that tomorrow. What else, man, though? The SPY was flat today. I know Chris wants to talk a little bit about the SPY and so on and so forth. He's getting locked and loaded to come on very, very soon for you. Not yet, says Ramin. Not yet, says Ramin, for Chris, but he's going to be coming through very, very soon. So Micron, a big name that's reporting. Let's see, let's go to next topic because we've already sort of touched on Micron a little bit. What else is floating through here? This again, buy trade ideas. Peloton, what? What is the news on Peloton right now? We'll find this out right now. What is happening with Peloton? It's a big move up, man. Peloton right now, 468 up to 610. Peloton. Did they report? And I don't know about them. Let's go here. We got to go into news. Where's my news feed? Here it is. Do we see Peloton? I do not. So we search for symbol. You guys in the chat, help me out if you see anything on Peloton. Outperformed. This is from Monday. Okay. Either we're a little bit late here on Peloton, or if anybody sees a story there, Peloton moving on news. Yeah, Peloton to 0 maybe, but not right now, Ponzi Fonzie, as there goes Peloton. Partnership with Lulu, finally. Is that true right now for Peloton? Let me just search. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on here with Benzinga. Let me just type in here Lulu. Maybe something's coming up with that one. No, nothing on there for Lululemon. So, yeah, but anyways, nice move up. So it is Lulu and Peloton finally, as if, man, this is what we've been waiting for. I always said that there was a good possibility. Thank you so much, man. This is why, honestly, the chat, let's go, because when I can't figure things out as all these numbers go through, man, Peloton apparently in a partnership right now with Lulu, so I don't have that news yet. Oh, there it is right now on Benzinga right now. Lulu and Peloton announced a 5-year global partnership for that primary apparel partner on Peloton. That's a big deal, guys. That is a big deal. Peloton will develop all content for Lululemon Studios. I think this is a big deal for Peloton. We're not in the name. We don't own any shares of this, but I don't know. I don't mind that. I think this is a good little move there for Peloton. So again, traders stay late. And this news breaking live right now on the show, Peloton. Let's go over a daily chart right now. You guys give me the thumbs up when Chris is ready. He's ready. Okay, so there's the move up for Peloton, trying to get to the 50-period moving average of 675. I like this story for Peloton. Good one right there as we go. So, hey, man, congratulations anybody that's been buying some of these dips. Peloton, I mean, again, destroyed. It's at all-time lows right now of $4. So, nice move up to 6. You can see the little tick there. Peloton making the move up. But, hey, let's bring in Chris right now with Trader Talk. Grazie. Mr. Brecher. Fabian, man, today. I don't know if it's the board or what's going on there, but thank you so much, Chris, for coming through, man. Fabian's the hardest working guy around, and I'm sure that you were pretty busy today, Chris. What a couple crazy moves that we saw in the market. Did you get any piece of that meta?
I didn't get meta. We got some of the things, but
It was a tough one today.
overall, we were just basically just trading some of the options.
Okay.
But everybody told me, not everybody, but some of the people told me that hedge funds are really short. So it didn't take much to make them go up, even though there's a big divergence between bonds still. So,
Sorry,
by the way,
Chris, I don't mean to interrupt with you there, but can you just short what? Hedge funds are short the market, short meta. What are we talking about here?
They said they're short the indexes.
Okay. What do you think about that?
That doesn't mean to buy, but it just, it's really tough when the markets are getting nailed
Right.
and the bonds are getting nailed to buy. I mean, really tough to buy. And I'll tell you on how we want to do it tomorrow. So
Sure.
tomorrow, when you get the transports with this kind of divergence, gigantic, look at that on the left, that daily.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the right, you get the SPX. We can put this, let's say, on a 4-hour. So the SPX is at a nice little rally today, but the transports are just destroyed. So our theory tomorrow is going to be that to buy the transport stocks. So today we were buying UPS in here. We were buying UPS just on the close.
Okay.
So we bought UPS at 152.18. But the other thing we were doing was buying some of the NASDAQ stocks that refused to go lower. So what happened is Splunk got taken over last week. So there was an article today in Reuters, or a news headline, about its open season for takeovers in a lot of the other software service.
Okay.
So the first thing we did was build a software service list. So here's all the lists. Some of them are too big to take over. And then on the right with Thinkorswim, you have call sizzle. So that'll sort of tell you what has more call action than normal.
I like that.
So that's one thing. But
so give us one name there. What name is standing out for you there then, Chris, on that list? Because that's pretty interesting. I've never looked at that sort of the call list there as opposed to with a watch list. I think that's a pretty cool thing that you just showed everybody.
Well, we were doing it the other way. Basically, we were taking of what refused to go lower, even though the markets were getting pounded. So a lot of those takeover / software / service were acting great. So what we did was we bought PANW right in here. Let me show you on a 5-minute. So right here, it acted great all day. So we bought it right here in the 231 area, and we got out at 232.5. And then I'm all bummed out because it went higher. And then for some odd reason, it sold off on the close. But I definitely was looking at what stocks refused to go lower. And if you look on the bottom, so I'll just show you the software service real quick.
Yep.
And I just updated it for everybody on the site. But you'll see that a lot of these, the PANWs, like I mentioned, Intuit, all these stocks refused to go lower. And then they formed like a perfect trend line. So you could just throw a dart at which ones you were going to buy. Not like it's that easy, but basically they wouldn't go down anyway. So I figured if the markets went up, those would be the first to go up. So that's how we played those. And then tomorrow, I want to try to play the Dow Jones transport stocks that just are diverging so much. You got to think they're going to have a leg up. I know I don't like to buy laggards, but there's such a divergence now. Look how far this Dow Jones transports are under their 50. So that's a lot. I mean, huge. And when I look at the SPX, it's under it, but not to the degree that the transports are. So that's why I was looking at the UPSs of the world.
We have a question, Chris, and because it's, again, thank you for sharing all this information. I mean, I think that's absolutely fantastic. UPS on that strike deal, though, right? I mean, we just had that union deal there with UPS, probably part of the reason for some movement on that one as opposed to the rest. But we have Jackie in our chat, and on Thinkorswim, can you just show where you get that call list? Because there's a lot of people, a lot of traders that are watching this that are maybe interested. Is that a paid premium feature or anything like that? Do you mind just maybe showing people?
No, it's secret, and I'm not allowed to show anybody. No, just kidding, just kidding. I'm going to scan.
Okay.
So all I'm doing is going to scan, and then what I'm doing is instead of my main list, I'm going down here by industry at the very bottom, and then I'm going into information technology, going over the software, and then select all software. Now, the problem with that is you get a lot of things that, 8 million stocks. So then I scan by saying I want them at least $5 and at least open interest to 2,000. I mean, it's got to have some options. And then we're taking the average volume of 300,000. So we're just going to software, at least 5, 2,000, and then 300,000. You pop up, it should be about 68 stocks. Yeah, 68 stocks. And then what you do is you go to the right and you say save as watch list. So you could just take software 1. And then you go to market watch and go back to software 1. It's the same list, but that's how you do it. And then I'm watching that, especially 2 things, either unusual call activity, and unusual to me means versus open interest. So if you see something that trades 5,000 calls, but it has 15,000 open interest, it's not as significant as, let's say, 5,000 calls that had 300 open interest. We call that the slime trade, where somebody knows something. So, and then what do you do? Well, you could buy, usually you don't want to buy stock because that's a little risky. You go and buy like out of the money call spreads.
Yep.
So if something does happen, you can do pretty well.
Well, that's great. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, our chat is blowing up. They're loving absolutely everything that you are sharing with us. Isn't it funny, though, the spiders, after all that today, the SPY in the market basically closes flat. The NASDAQ up 0.2 today as well. Guys, come over to my screen real quick. I just want to talk about this meta move. Like, honestly, I wish there was something because I got rinsed in this. I mean, and I just want to say, look at the volume starting to pick up here on the screen a little bit there, heading into that call. Is this something, like, I've really learned my lesson today, Chris, and that is that I'm going to try to stay away from these events. I mean, if we're going to use technicals to make decisions on stock, then why, like, this is when Mark Zuckerberg right away at 1:30 took the stage. He wasn't even saying anything. And the stock went down from 297 all the way down there to 290. And it didn't start to go back up until he left the stage. So I'm actually wondering, like, what's up with that? Like, I don't, it's so funny how little random things like this can move the markets in such funny ways. So I was like, nope, this can't be true. Like, why is this going down? I'm sitting here watching that whole MetaConnect display, and it was like, this is pretty cool. I didn't really see anything a problem. And then the guy hits the stage, and boom, it just tanks all the way down, and then actually retraces all the way back up. Was there anything on your radar at all that might have indicated? I mean, I see these bottom wicks down there, possibly as exhaustion candles on a 1-minute chart. I'm thinking that could have maybe indicated a bottom, but was there anything that maybe would have helped you, or anything that you saw where someone could have found that bottom or understood that was going to sort of flush there at the end? I don't know. I was kind of like a deer in headlights with Meta today.
The only thing I saw is that the QQQ exploded at the same time. Right. So whoever they is, just seemed to buy the most volatile one. So NVIDIA did the same thing right at 2 o'clock. As you see on the bottom, just exploded right at the same time. So I just think it was market related, but it's pretty funny because a lot of times you see, let's say, a CEO retire. I'm not saying Meta. Yeah. And the stock goes up. It's always an insult to the CEO when that happens. Yes. But this one, I think, was just short squeeze related of the broad markets. They all went up at the same time. And before that happened, we were seeing the bonds down 28, and all of a sudden, just the NASDAQ refused to go lower. So we're like, you know, somebody knows something. And supposedly McConnell came out and said they have a structure of a budget deal. So that has something to do with that short squeeze. But it seemed like because the hedge funds were short, I guess everything just popped. So I don't think it was really Zuckerberg as much as it was just a coincidence that everything went up.
Yeah, people saying we hit a neckline on the spiders at the same time, and I'm just reading the chat. So there's a lot of well-educated traders in the chat. They're saying very similar stuff that you're saying, that we just got to a point where it had to pop back up. I guess it was more the drop in Meta that was like, where'd that come from? Because everything seemed healthy at the time, but a nice pop back up. I played Microsoft long and Google long, and we caught $2 back on both of those, back to the upside as well. Okay, so your trade tomorrow is long the transports. Is there an ETF or anything for that? I don't.
IYT. But the problem with IYT, it's really thin. You can see all the dots and dashes, but actually it has tight markets. So you can go and buy some. I think you see, like when you talked about Meta and you look at a daily chart, and I always go back and look, and you're like, you know, that really wasn't near any support. On the other hand, the IYT, at least you could connect some prior tops. So that's why I wanted to mess with IYT. It's finally down to all those. We've had this line in there now for a month, for 2 months. So at least you have that reason.
Wow, I like that. I like to try to keep those lines on my chart as well. I mean, you never know when something's going to hit. Like sometimes I always say that, especially when you're trading, just put the order out. You never know if you're going to get filled or not. So again, great information, Chris. I can't thank you enough for joining us weekly. Everyone can check you out on Twitter at Simpler Trading as well. It's Chris Brecher. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Take care.
It's always a pleasure, my man. There it is. That's Trader Talk, Chris Brecher. All right. I mean, look, we try to be as honest. Well, not try to be. We are as honest as possible around here. And you guys saw me go up and down there on Meta. And I actually wanted to call the stock up. First of all, let's just talk about Microsoft. Microsoft was definitely like. I hit the bag, doesn't matter, it's my show. Right there. So you could see today, we shorted Microsoft early. We had it written down on our sticky note. This is just a sample sticky note, not the actual sticky note I'm holding up right now, but doesn't matter, it's not on me. But there's the fade right there through the 200 period on Microsoft early. We wound up taking some nice profits and holding right there. And then right at 130, we were listening and back to the Meta talk right there. There were mention of Microsoft, connection with Xbox, connection with Teams, all this kind of stuff. And there it goes right back up to the upside. We took a nice trade, man. We're long at 310 on that resistance, on that support, out there at 312, and it did continue to climb. A very similar trade. Oops, not Goggle Q. Google right there. Very, very, look at this, man. Too many outs on Google, but there it is right there. The same type of time, 2 o'clock, a huge bounce back for Google, and we were able to take a lot of profit back on this name. But what the embarrassing trade of the day or of the week or of the year for me is just look at this. Dying on the sword long, then dying on the sword short before eventually catching some money back there at the end of the day for Meta. But what I was talking about with Max was like, if you just wait where we did wait, like why I'm buying this, and Chris even talked about it herself, there's no support in Meta, dude. Why are you buying it in here at 294, 293? Here's a 20-minute chart. What are you even doing? There's nothing down there until about maybe 290, I mean, that's 295. You could go down a little bit lower, maybe into here where you finally find something at 293.50. Well, guess what? If I waited for 293.50, that's right back up here. So these trades are fine, but what am I doing all the way down there? We finally thought we caught a bottom. Nice trades before it broke, and it's that 288.50 move to the backside there. And then shorting ahead of VWAP worked. I'm actually not that upset about the short, to be honest with you. It was maybe right there, the 200 period that hurt, but shorting in around 300, we did get stopped out of a little bit there, but then made it back on the way back in, catching a 297 bid off of a 300 short. So we did make 250 back there on Meta. But again, what did I learn? And we're always going to do this because we always got to be thinking. What's going through this guy's head? You don't want to know most of the time, but it's about trading away from news events. You know, there's somebody with more buying power, there's somebody with more ideas than you, and they don't fight it because when you're wrong, learn your lesson, and we did that today on Meta for show. But again, it wasn't that bad of a day. I mean, it wasn't that bad of a day. We were able to make it back. Oh, we had a great trade at the end of the day on Apple as well, coming back in. Once Apple loads, there it is right there off one set. Of course, we have these wicks, so I can't show you. But 170.65 or so was the short. Some of these outs are sub 170 back at the 200 period. So, hey, man, we remained calm, cool, and collected. And I think that that's the big thing there. We're obviously getting carried away as Meta's going. But if you just sit back, and I got to give a big shout out to Reliable Rudy, because I read something in the chat where you just said, hey, stick with what you're doing. You will find better trades. And we did that. So I want to say thank you so much for that. And hey, I can't argue, man. Come on, let's go. Let's get some great likes going because we've just given you some good info, man. We just talked all about trading psychology a little bit. We had Chris, but we have to do this, man. It has to be roll call. Let's go live chat right now. I'll give you guys a second to get into that chat. And meanwhile, whoops, oh no. We just lost everybody there because we did the shaking of the screen. I'll get the chat back in a minute, but shout out to everybody and a shout out to Bears vs. Bulls. Let's go through some fan funding today. Super chats. Oliver was there. Yo, Phil MC, we'll say that. Erica Welch, Maine MBFA, thank you so much for all the super chats. And then Adele Lane, thank you so much. And Warren coming through. Ed L, I guess. I don't know. Edie, maybe? Could be your name. But let's do roll call. Shout out. Who's here, man? Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls. You the best. Let's go bang for that. Bears vs. Bulls. Trading PE is here. I think it is important that you trade on some PEs. Oh, yeah. Recent buy in my long-term account. Amazon, Oracle. We're not done. Let's go back. BGZ, yo, Lone Sophos. I may not do this unless we get more likes right now. 225. Let's go to 3 bills, man. Right now, 1,700. I know the death clock is on. 1,700 watching. Let's go, man. Let's get this going a little bit more. Thank you so much to everybody for hitting the likes. And yeah, hey, Dr. Strange, we're gonna have bigger guests, man. I got Natalie, not bigger, but same. We got Natalie Brunell scheduled to come on here. Michael Noss is coming through again. So if you do like sort of all the crypto talk, CMT talk, so on and so forth. And the thing about the guests on our show, unlike other shows, look, there's other recap shows, but then you're just going to get talking heads. Like someone that's going to say, oh, you know what, that Oculus was great. I mean, I think Meta needs to be a buy. But I'm in the fire, man. We are in the fire with everybody out there right now. That was the purpose of this show. Traders stay late, and we're going to bring traders on. This is not someone that's going to look and say, hey, I think Meta's going to go down to 250. Who cares? Meta right now is at 300. What is the trade tomorrow? What was the trade today? And that's why hopefully we are the greatest show on turf. We are live every single day, man. That reminds me of the Rams. That's why we said that. They used to be the greatest show on turf. We're the greatest show on YouTube. It's Trader TV Live. We are live every single day at 8:30. Thank you so much for joining me, though, every day on the recap show. We're going to keep bringing you the fire as long as we're here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sean Katina. It's been the recap show. Join me tomorrow at 8:30 live when I return with Neil. Ciao, everybody.